So now we're trying to find a new way to reach out to the different communities in the city just to understand the needs, because we're a bigger city now. Every neighborhood has their challenges. We just need to have a way to understand those. I'm a big fan of bottom up, understanding instead of top down. Us telling you, I'd rather hear what's going on and go that way.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Thursday, May 1st, and now it's real spring. The grass is green, hopefully not too green.
Yes.
But it's hopefully past the fake spring, and then the snow, then the spring and the snow, and hopefully it's warm now, finally.
Hopefully it stays 70 for a little bit. Like, I hate
nice
when it goes right to the 90s.
Yeah.
Give me some 70s for a couple of weeks.
That's fair. I'm an 80s guy, but not musically.
I was going to say me too, but
70
we're probably not talking about Roxette.
No.
Okay.
I'm John LaFollette, Communications Manager for Herriman City, joined today by Mayor Palmer. How are you doing?
Good to be here.
Thanks for joining. We have a few things going on. First, I want to mention the Health Safetypalooza, which is a mouthful of a name, but that's what it's called.
Right.
9 to noon, right outside here at Crane Park and Plaza, right outside the City Hall. Get out in the park and ride bikes around and get some health and safety information. I guess it's an apt title for
what it is.
So, a few really cool things happening. There's a bike rodeo, bike helmet giveaways, bike giveaways. These are at various times too. So go to herriman.gov/events.
Yes.
There's a helicopter tour going on
Of a life flight, yep.
and you'll even see the police canine demonstration too.
That they used to do during town days.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's been moved to this. So if you like the police canines, this is your chance to see them now. Yep. So,
and hats off to Friends of Herriman. They've secured over 100 vendors. This could be a big event. Like, it's not typically one of the mainstream. That could be this weekend. So come out. This is going to be a big event. So
9 to noon at Crane Park here. Starting today, fun topic.
Every year we do this.
Every year. So if you remember last year, speaking of Blackridge Reservoir, the city made several changes, including charging a fee for parking to help reduce the amount of people who are there. Mm-hmm. Overcrowding is the root issue there.
Right.
And so nothing is changing from last year, but just want to remind people that's starting today, and then it goes through September 7. Parking fee on Saturdays, Sundays, and the holidays,
right,
between now and then. And there's, again, a parking permit program up there to be aware of, and if you don't have a permit from living up there, do not park on those streets.
Yep, because the parking fine increased as well to help. Really, it was to help the neighbors in that area too. But I think the solution we came up with fixed a lot. Like, we didn't have the issues up there this last year, so we're hoping this year continues. If
you have any questions about Blackridge Reservoir, herriman.gov/Blackridge-reservoir. You'll find all the information on there. And by the way, if you do live up there, you probably know this already, but if you need guest permits for a family event or something, you can apply for that at no cost through the city. Just go to that webpage and follow the steps there, and the contact information will get you taken care of.
Yep.
Now with people going to the parks, I don't have a great transition for this. Dog poop is a problem.
It is right
and
now.
We're asking people, please be grown-ups and pick up after your dog. There are poop bags everywhere. Use them. If your dog poops, it will be noticed by someone. It will be stepped in by someone. Just pick up the dog poop. It's gross. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes picking it up. We'll be fair to that too.
Right.
But that's just kind of part of being a dog owner and being respectful of other people. So just please be courteous to others.
Yes, we shouldn't have to step in as a city, but please, I can't believe the complaints I get about this. It's a concern. So please, let's all step up and be a better part of this community in this issue. So.
Yeah. So if you see someone else's dog poop and they haven't cleaned it up, you can score some societal brownie points, I guess, and,
yes,
and pick it up there. You'll probably never be thanked for it, but you can feel good about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Construction update. We will not go through everything, but first, the good news, hopefully.
I'm waiting for this too.
Things have changed so many times, but the sewer project on 134th South in Riverton, not Herriman. And it's not at Riverton City project either. Anyway, that has been the project that has cut off access eastbound 134 to southbound Bangor Highway. That hopefully is opening up this weekend. or after this weekend, early next week-ish. So the nightmare that has been 126th on Herriman Boulevard, it's a disaster, and it's so frustrating. And everybody who's ever sat in that or turned around and gone a different, everyone gets it.
Yep.
It's not going to solve all of that, but hopefully it should put a dent in it.
I just really felt this weight lifted because it's been a struggle, right? So that's great news. A little bit early if that's the case, so that's great news.
Yeah. So we'll leave the caveat out there that if something goes wrong, I don't think there will. They might have to add a few days to that, but
we're close.
Very much light at the end of the tunnel for that part of it.
Great.
To be clear, the 134 over Bangerter is not open until this fall, so don't get too excited about that. But hopefully that Bangerter access will help alleviate some of the traffic nightmare.
Absolutely will. Yep. Great news.
And on the 118 sewer project, 118th South, that is extending westward into Herriman. A few dates have shifted around, but there are a couple of residential streets that'll be closed there for probably just a few days, but it's also hopping over to the west side of Mountain View over to, there are like 3 different sections of 118th,
right.
But if you think over by the Starbucks or the storage unit businesses, it's going to be messing that up a little bit.
Right.
Herriman Main Street's going to have to be closed for a few days, not the whole thing, just that little stretch there. Across from South Jordan, that Smiths area.
Right.
That little section is going to be closed. So if you go there, it's not a hugely trafficked road, but if you go there, just plan a couple extra minutes.
Yep.
For all other construction updates, including pavement treatment that's happening in residential areas, Herriman.gov/construction-projects. That'll redirect you to an interactive map. You can click on whatever your heart desires and get all the information you can possibly handle.
A lot going on. Yep.
And if you don't subscribe to our email and text updates, we'll send those to areas that are impacted by construction projects when there's situational updates. Herriman.gov/notifications, and you can set up an account there, and we'll get information out too.
Cool.
Finally, last night was a joint City Council Planning Commission meeting.
Right.
2 main agenda items. The first was about the Community Facilitators program. So for those of you, well, maybe you can explain it for those who aren't aware and maybe what the discussion was. And then,
yeah, happy to explain that because I was involved in that. I got involved early on in that. That's kind of how I got involved really with the city was when development was coming into an area. This was an additional meeting. We were trying to create some transparency, kind of that extra step, awareness of what was going on. So it was an extra meeting with the neighbors to kind of get some feedback, the developer, the city. So that, but now really, and I know it doesn't feel like that in the city, but really development approvals are slowing down, right? Most of the city is, we've talked about that, it's mostly entitled out or approved. Like we're not going to have very many land use decisions moving forward, right? We're just, but, so we decided as a body to kind of hit pause on that just because it's not needed. And we had 4 districts that were handling it throughout the city, and that's just, it definitely is not that magnitude at all anymore. So we're going to slow down, pivot, maybe create some neighborhood, try to create some community type stuff. We still want to do the outreach. We just don't need it for development. So now we're trying to find a new way to reach out to the different communities in the city just to understand the needs, because we're a bigger city now. We just have to, every neighborhood has their challenges, and we just need to have a way to understand those I'm a big fan of bottom up, understanding instead of the top down. Us telling you, I'd rather hear what's going on and go that way.
One thought that I had, and a lot of other people have had, if you want to know what's going on in your city, you have to make some effort to be engaged there. One comment that was made last night, it's been made several times before, is I had no idea this thing, whatever this thing is, was happening. How is this being approved? I hadn't even heard about it.
Right.
That's a sentiment that's come up a lot over the years. And in some cases, maybe the city could make a better effort and not just Herriman, any city could make a better effort to get word out there beforehand. But there's also some effort required on the other side. This is a fun city for me to work for in my communication sphere because the city council and the city administration values transparency. So we go through a lot of effort, use a lot of tools to get information out there, but at the same time, the residents need to be engaged too and make some sort of effort there. I don't really have an endpoint on that, but a comment again was made last night that Herriman has a good communications effort.
Right.
And that's not to pat ourselves on the back, but we do most than I think most cities, but that sentiment still exists. And we would just encourage people, if you want to be involved, check in on the website, check in on our social media every now and then, listen to the podcast, things like that. Engage with your city council members. It's not as scary as it might seem to be.
Right.
Anyway, I just kind of wanted to say that, like, we do our part. Residents need to do their part if they want to be informed. If you don't want to be informed, you probably aren't listening to this anyway, and you don't care.
Right.
That's fine too. But if you have ever felt, I wish I would have known about this, in Herriman, there may have been a chance to know about it a little bit sooner. Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair, because I think all of us are, from, like you said, administration to council, we want that involvement, right? We never want anything hidden, because to be fair, all of us on the council at one time before kind of felt, whether or not it was true, right? But we kind of had that concern. So we believe in passing that, I guess paying that forward now and trying to be, out there. And so we're all normal people, on the council. We're all just, even staff, we're just doing the best we can too. But we're approachable. We try to be approachable. Call us, email us, just don't go on social media. Like that's fine, right? But reach out to us, communicate with us that way. That's just a lot better. Follow social media. Like, don't just go to follow it. Do the following and put it in your favorites you can do that on Instagram, Facebook. Pops up so you get all the information. It's quick look and move on. So
yeah. And we don't say this to shame anybody
Not at all.
or belittle,
No.
but if people want to be informed, it does take effort to stay engaged.
Yep. And people, and I tell everybody, if you have ideas we could do better, please let us know, because we'd love to do anything we could to be better too.
Yep. And the other topic last night at the joint meeting was, we mentioned this, I think several months ago now, a work meeting discussion that's now come to the Planning Commission City Council for more discussion, nothing official yet, but kind of a flex commercial zone idea.
Okay, so you see a lot of these tilt-up buildings, right? These new big warehousing type looking. So this is kind of that, between that and a full-on retail space that it's kind of trying to find the kind of an incubator space, they call it, or if you want that first time you've been working out of your garage in your home occupation business, and you just need a little bit more, an office, maybe a little bit of storage. We're hoping these, 1,000, 1,500 square foot flex spaces, mini flex spaces, can be a good fit, right? So we're trying to create a zone for that. Again, this wouldn't be immediately applied anywhere. It's creating a new zone. It's just a new tool. We talked about having tools in our toolbox as a city. This just gives us a new tool that if a project were to come along, we've got one interested, but again, they'd have to go through the process now, try to apply that zone to an area. And then, so it'll start through the process now. We did kind of give it the head nod to move through the process. So now the Planning Commission will vet it out really well, make sure it's going to be a good looking product, not just, not look like storage units, if you will. Have a good look to it, safety, traffic, parking. And then once the Planning Commission vets it, it'll come to the council. We'll officially create that zone if it gets to that point, and then people could apply to have that zone on their property at that point.
Yeah, good time to plug too that the city council doesn't willy-nilly get to just zone anything they want at any point. A landowner has to apply for zoning change. So I want to throw that plug in there too. The city doesn't build things.
Nope.
Well, except for like parks and roads to a degree, but
I wish we did. We should do a whole subject on that. The things we needed. I wish I could bring. There's a lot of things we would have in Herriman that if I wished and wanted it, they'd be here, but I wish it worked that way. But
maybe we could start a little mini topic on here, kind of like no dumb questions, but like things you thought cities could do, but we can't do.
Yeah, that's actually really good. I like that actually. Yeah,
maybe we'll throw something like that in there.
I like that.
Anyway, that'll be enough for today. We have a lot of other things to talk about. We'll save it for another week, and get us an air conditioning. So the room in here, if you're looking at me and I'm a sweaty mess, I'm
so sorry. It's 80 degrees now. Yes.
I played pickleball with my wife right before this, just during a lunch break. And this room didn't have the right settings for AC, so it's like 78 degrees in here.
It's
and
hot.
We have lights on us, and anyway.
My deodorant's still working from yesterday, so I'm good. So still good.
That's some good deodorant. If you have a question or a comment, leave it on any comment section that you're listening on. And most people seem to like sending questions to communications@herriman.gov, and we'll answer it in the coming week. We'll see if our memory cards worked. I don't know if they did. This may be an audio only thing.
We'll see.
Which considering Maybe I shouldn't have done high definition for this camera.
Oh, man.
Anyway, thanks, Mayor Palm, for coming in.
Good to see you again.
Thank you for listening and watching, and we'll catch you next time.